appreciate what you do and what you bring, and I would like for it to be something that makes the cement and the mortar stronger rather than a sledgehammer that breaks it. Because there's a lot of great things happening here that a lot of people, I mean, recently I wasn't able to attend. I've got a lot of personal things going on as well as physical things, but the South Fulton Municipal Association met at where we have our Arches Brewery, and they were just going on and on about how did we get all these things to come to Hapeville? How did we get all these things started? Maybe Alan can speak to that later, but they're just amazed at what we do get done. And I'm thinking, well, I think part of it is because most of us here are very open-minded and want new things and change. Of course, everything comes at a cost, and so it has to be tempered. I hated seeing the budget go down the first few years that I was elected, and I've enjoyed seeing it reversed. Would I want to see it reversed bigger? Yes. And in doing my part, you know, they did a chart, or Alan, you did last week, of what people pay for taxes. Unfortunately, my house wasn't charged 1 penny, which to me is ridiculous, that I would get all the services of the city for nothing. And it wasn't my option, it wasn't my choice. I think because I sold the house, it'll change, but sorry about that. Anyway, I'm into fixing things up and making them better. That's what I like doing. I'm a builder, I'm not a demolition person. I love dialogue, and to me it's a lot better in a setting away from this. I don't like being up at a perch like this. To me it feels stupid. I'd rather be sitting at a table with a cup of coffee. I have the coffee, but the sitting at a table. I welcome it, and if there's an affordable forensic audit, I have nothing to hide. But some of the things, you know, that I think you were talking about we, and of course we discussed that, but also said, why did we do certain things? Well, I certainly didn't do anything. I haven't had anything but sorrow and prayer for you with your loss. I certainly don't want to know your finances. I have no desire. I'm so sorry for your loss.
That was a real shock, and it was a low blow. If these attorneys do that, then that's on them.
Well,
that's a low blow.
I'm just saying that, I'm telling you from my heart, God's truth.
Thank you.
I would just like to restate my request for either the city manager or the city clerk to check with our liability insurance policy to see if it will cover a forensic audit.
That's not an agenda item. Is that the consent of council to direct the city manager to check with the liability insurance?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I'm assuming they would pay it if we assume there's some wrongdoing. They don't pay us. There's been something done, but I have to probably check it.
So again, that's not an agenda item, so we're operating under consent.
Is that collusion?
That's fine.
Check.
If council so wishes, I will find out and send you back the information.
Thank you.
Hey, if it helps, sounds good.
All right. All right, we were in public comments on agenda items, so we still have the floor open for comments on agenda items. I'll take the general comments at the end of the meeting. Once again, agenda item comments on my left. On my right. Okay, we'll move into old business. Under old business, we have 4 appointments. We have 5 vacancies on various boards. On the Board of Appeals, there are 5 positions, 4 of which are currently serving with 1 vacancy. Hapeville Development Authority, 4 positions, 2 currently serving, and 2 vacant.
Speak up, please.
The Development Authority of the City of Hapeville, 2 positions, 2 vacant. Planning Commission, 4 positions, 4 currently serving. And the Ethics Committee, 1 position that is currently serving. Anybody prepared to make any motion on any of these items?
I'd like to move that we table these appointments until March 7th.
Okay. Motion to table, is there a second?
I'll second to get the discussion.
Okay, discussion.
So if you table this on March 7th, is there anything coming up that Jennifer, that's important?
We don't have any words about form.
Well, like, I'm saying, like, if we push this back again, is this gonna hold us back
We're
for,
getting into March, so.
and is there a reason why you want to table it?
I have a couple of people that I've talked to who want to submit applications, and we're going to do it this week, so I didn't receive anything from Jennifer, so I don't know if they've done, so I'd like a chance to call them.
All right, so we're still in discussion on the motion to table. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed? Carries 3-1. All right. Under new business, we have consideration and action to waive first reading of ordinance 2017-06. This is a budget amendment. You have a copy given for meeting tonight that has a little change to it. So this will be a final adjustment for the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget. And this needs to be done so that they can complete the audit for that period of time. Anyone prepared to make a motion A to waive first reading?
Also move.
Motion to waive first reading, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second discussion.
We asked Tim to explain what these are.
Yes, Tim? It's your microphone. Yes, he has.
Okay, I must have not been here when he was introduced.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like Tim.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Okay.
As you know, for budgeting for capital purposes, no line item that we have, no expense line item that we have a budget, the expenditures can't exceed that line item. And so these changes that have been sent to us by for the final audit basically are just adjustments to the budgeted line items. Our expenses are already done for the audit. We have a draft, we're drafted approximately $421,000 worth of fund balance, aggregate fund balance this year. But the individual lines, we have, in the general fund, we have two lines. One, we had an AT&T lease that was about $23,000 in expenditures. We actually had them in one line in the lease, but moved them to debt service. So that's $24,000. And then we have.
Where are you?
Okay,
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, explain the 29, I think.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we had an equipment lease under our recreation that we had $5,000 worth of expenditures.
Here, I'll show you what he's talking about.
That's in the general fund.
Additional
Here.
expense.
This is like the lease is here.
Already expended, but we didn't, when we did the budget in 2015, basically 2015, 2016, we didn't anticipate those. And so we had to, basically, we reported them properly, but since we didn't have a budget at the time, we need to put the budget in there.
And the 29 here. Yeah, this 5,000, this is the one that just had.
Right, we need to work off the copy you just sent out.
And this is, this
I'm just making
Oh,
sure.
okay, okay.
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 That's what the rest.
All right, so that's for the general fund. And under the special revenue fund, we had car rental, basically we had car rental tax revenues budgeted at $30,000. We actually we received and expended $30,607, so that's $607. And special revenue under police equipment purchases, we had $17,000 that had been authorized by the council, that had been for fingerprint scanners and some other police items. And so we had to bring over, carry over fund balance because the dollars had been basically received in prior years.
They were forfeiture funds.
Exactly. And that's the forfeiture fund you actually see further down, the exact same dollar amount under 2015-5910-584.
So basically, Mr. Mayor, to sum it up, this is just cleanup work that the auditor caught so that we can finalize the CAPR, which is coming soon.
I think this is the last one, Tim?
Culture and Recreation Department.
No, the last.
Last audit?
But,
Or
adjustment.
amendment?
Last amendment.
Okay.
Is this the last budget amendment that you anticipate for that?
That sure is the last one I'm expecting.
For the audit.
Yes, for this audit.
Yeah.
Yes, for the 2015-2016 audit. I just came in December, so we're putting it together, but this is the last one that I'm expecting. It's talks to the auditor today.
Next.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
All right, is there further discussion? We're in a motion to wait for first reading right now. What about you, Mary?
But concerning audit, didn't we talk about that we are going to have a different auditor next year?
Yes.
Going to put it
Yeah,
down?
really.
Yes.
Okay.
There's 2 points that council needs to understand and the public may be interested in. First of all, the reason the city is late on the audit is because both the financial director and his assistant, the CPA that helps him pull the numbers together, were out sick for several months. They weren't just a little sick, they were major sick. And that's one of the reasons we made the move to bring Tim in, and thank goodness we did. He's doing a great job. So there is legitimate reasons for us being late. It's not something the city planned on. It's not something that the management condoned or we, figured, oh, well, we'll get around to it. It's just something that happened to us. It was unfortunate and it happened.
Jim or John were both out.
Correct, at the same time, and it was bad for the audit, okay? So now we're back on track, and the audit is coming, and this is the cleanup work necessary to get ready for that audit, and it will be coming soon. And I just wanted everyone to understand that it's not a situation where we were just sitting on our hands. Second point is to Councilman Bramlin's point. Tim has been tasked with the responsibility of drafting an RFP for a new auditor in the new fiscal year. I have assured the council you can go back and check the record, that RFP will be issued in the probably April timeframe, in plenty of time to get them on hired and on board for the new fiscal year. It's the same discussion we've had on multiple occasions.
It was our desire to have the audit bid, this audit season that we're in right now, but with the shortage of staff, it just didn't happen.
So that means that they would not be the auditor in charge of the 17-18 audit?
Yes, they would.
They would be the ones, okay.
It would be the,
16-17, what we're in now, okay,
yes.
okay.
So, we are on task to get everything done. Yes, we're late, but we're late due to unusual circumstances that were beyond control of anyone to foresee or deal with.
Yeah, I wish we had more depth, but I think it's pretty obvious why we don't.
Well, to comment on that, when Boatright gives us our audit report, I would encourage everyone to be present when they give their review of that audit report. Because one of the things, and they've been talking about the depth in our financial operations since the first day I was on city council. And they say it is not unusual for a small city like Hayesville to have this problem because you only have so much money to hire people. So in the finance department, as with many of our other departments, we don't have any problems that money won't fix. And we could have more people in these roles if we had a larger budget. So that's just the bottom line. There's no, the city's trying to skirt around it or anything like that. It's a matter of economics.
Well said, sir.
All right, so we're still in the discussion of waiving the first reading. So all in favor of that motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries to waive first reading. Now I'll entertain a motion on the adoption of ordinance 2017-06, budget amendment.
I'll move to adopt.
Motion to adopt, is there a second?
Second.
second discussion. There being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next item is discussion of the Aerotropolis Atlanta CID Master Plan. And I believe we have some visitors tonight. Welcome. Thank you for your patience tonight. If you just give us your name and your guest name for the record, that'd be awesome.
Sir, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Larry Lucas with the collaborative firm out of East Point. And our firm is happy to be on the team that's under the direction of Kimley Horn in developing the Metropolis Atlanta CID Master Plan. Representing Kimley Horn tonight, we have Mr. Eric Bozeman, Ben Wheatley, and on the staff of the Community Improvement District, Mr. Stephen Reed. Our purpose here tonight is to present the draft of this master plan. The collaborative firm is pleased to continue its service to Metro Atlanta, specifically on the south side of town. And we are starting our 16th year in service to local jurisdictions, and we are pleased to continue that. I'll now give the floor over to Mr. Bozeman of Kimley Horn.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you all for having us here this evening to give you what I hope will be just a brief update and overview of the Aerotropolis Atlanta CID's master plan. The executive summary document was in your council packet, and hopefully you had a chance to quickly peruse it. Hapeville is one of 5 local municipalities in 2 counties that make up a portion of the Aerotropolis Atlanta CID district. And as a partner in that effort, we wanted you to be fully aware of what's coming out of the master plan and what some of the next steps will be to help pull our communities together and bring improvement to some of our local communities that are within the Aerotropolis CID district. The executive summary introduces both the CIDs. As you all are probably aware, it's actually 2 community improvement districts. Airport West, which includes portions of Fulton County, including a portion of the city of Hapeville, and Airport South CID, which is incorporated in Clayton County, which includes portions of the city of College Park and unincorporated areas within Clayton County. The master plan clearly lays out the goals and objectives for these 2 CIDs. Now, the CIDs collect an additional tax on commercial properties within the CID boundaries. Those commercial properties pay an extra millage when they pay their county property taxes. That money goes to the CID Board of Directors and can be spent according to Georgia enabling legislation and the enabling legislation for Fulton County in the case of Airport West in the Hapeville area on specific items. Those specific items are public safety, wayfinding and branding, and infrastructure improvements within the CID district. So the document clearly lays out those items that the CID can spend its money on. But I think what's most important for you to understand is these CIDs have been very, very strategic, that they want to make sure that every dollar they spend on the behalf of our commercial property owners goes to one or both of 2 major goals. One is to enhance the brand and the perception of the CID area and the Aerotropolis Atlanta area, and the second is to attract and be a catalyst for economic investment and economic development. The goals of these CIDs are to contribute to the longevity and the sustainability of all of our cities and our 2 counties by enhancing our economic development opportunities. To that end, the executive summary includes an independent third-party market assessment that was completed by our firm, Kimley Horn. It focuses not only on where investment is likely to occur in the district over the next 5 to 10 years, but the timeline for likely investment by our private property owners related to residential, office, and industrial and manufacturing over the next 10 to 20 years. The bottom line is that many of our residents and many of our employers within the South area, within the Aerotropolis area, want to see a higher level of amenities when it comes to shopping and restaurants and places to go and to recreate. And in order for the CID to help make that a reality, we need more people living in the area and more people working in the area. So our focus from an economic development perspective is on a greater diversity and higher quality housing within the area and attracting additional business that will bring employees to our area so that we can build the critical mass necessary to bring higher quality retailers and a greater diversity of retailers and restaurants to the region and to the area. As part of that, we've looked at the locations where that makes the most sense. And the CID master plan outlines the areas within the Aerotropolis district that are most likely to recruit and retain economic investment over the next 5 to 10 years. And related specifically to the city of Hapeville, you're putting a significant amount of time and effort into your downtown. That is certainly one of those areas where we see great opportunity moving forward, as well as the entire Virginia Avenue corridor, which includes portions of Hapeville, College Park, and East Point. And that will be one of the focus areas for the CID as we begin to implement the plan over the next 5 years. The plan clearly outlines the programs and the initiatives, and I want to highlight a few of those, 3 specifically that relate to the city of Hapeville. One is that we have a very keen focus on public safety. If I could go backwards 1 slide. The CID is very active in working with our local jurisdictions, as well as Fulton County and Clayton County Public Safety, in order to raise the profile of our public safety and, again, enhance the brand and perception of our district by lowering both the perception and the reality of public safety issues within the district. So our Public Safety Director, John Antoine, that works very closely with Mr. Reese, continues to build collaboration and communication across the municipalities, and we're continuing to work on and invest in technologies, cameras, license plate readers, and other technology that will help us monitor and track those that are a threat to our public safety within the district. The CID is proud to lead and help coordinate some of those efforts.
So one question real quick.
Certainly.
Turn on my mic. So the cameras, I'm really interested in this because we've been installing our own cameras in the city. So how and where do you guys choose to put those? Like what is the qualifications and that kind of stuff?
They have a security director, and we are in conversation with them, and we're actually hoping we can piggyback, if you will,
Exactly,
and
that's what I was
collaborate
thinking.
on those efforts, Josh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've been having that conversation at the staff level.
Okay. Okay, because when that came up, I was like, we're doing the
But
exact
it
same
does have to
thing.
be within the footprint.
Of the CID, yeah, which makes complete sense, but what helps the city helps everybody. So,
And clearly, the challenge is we have so many municipalities that crime affects all of us regardless of which city, so the whole idea is to coordinate it and have a central monitoring location, and that's part of what's being worked on.
okay.
I also happen to found another pot of money on the airport, so we're going to be talking with them as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So a second key recommendation coming out of the master plan is the CID is focusing on enhancing the landscaping and upkeep of all of our major interchanges within the district. Now in total, the Aerotropolis CID has 12 different interchanges along 75, 85, and 285. Of the 4 that have been, I'm one ahead of me. Of the 4 that have been prioritized, one that will be of great interest to you is the 85 at Virginia Avenue interchange. That's one of the first 4 that the CID will begin working on this year in partnership with the Georgia Department of Transportation. And we're looking forward to working with both the DOT and our local municipalities to completely reshape that interchange as a major focal point, gateway, and entryway into the district and into our partner cities. Another piece is wayfinding and signage. One of the key recommendations that will be coming out is the CID is going to begin working this next year and welcomes the city involvement in creating a wayfinding and branding package for all of the Aerotropolis CID district. This will include regional signs, district signage, and local signage. Local signage is sort of that pedestrian scale signage, which will be most important to the Virginia Avenue area as we look and focus on that small area over the next year. And that leads, I'm so sorry, the
Yeah, that
pointer is just killing me. And then the last piece is a focus on some of those development areas in key corridors. And corridor 1A for the CID is a focus on Virginia Avenue as it runs through the cities of College Park, East Point, and Hapeville. So we are outlining several strategies. The main recommendation is to undertake a small area study this next year, specifically collaborating with our local municipalities and creating a more detailed redevelopment, streetscape, and enhancement effort for Virginia Avenue. To give you an early picture of what that might look like, this is Virginia Avenue today, and what the CID has already outlined in terms of streetscapes and development guidelines could create an environment that looks more like this over the next 5 to 10 years. Virginia Avenue is already seeing a significant amount of development interest. What we want to make sure is that we have a sense of continuity and seamlessness between the three municipalities so that we get something that looks good in totality across the entire corridor and not something that varies wildly and is different within each of the three municipalities. So we'd like to partner with the city over the next year, the next 8 to 10 months in order to create this small area study. The CID has already identified funding to pay for most of that package, but our executive director, Gerald McDowell, and our program manager, Kirsten Berry, is likely to come back and continue those conversations with you over the next couple of months. In addition to Virginia Avenue, we're also focusing on Camp Creek, mostly in College Park and East Point, as well as Phoenix Boulevard in College Park in the Clayton County portion. The CID is also looking finally at some infrastructure improvements. Most of those are to improve some of the truck connectivity and provide alternate routes for trucks to get off of some of our major streets where we have a lot of conflicts with vehicles. Most of that is on the west side of the district in the Camp Creek, South Fulton Parkway area. We're not immune to looking at traffic issues in Hayesville, but our priorities right now, first and foremost, are over on South Fulton and Camp Creek. So the last spread of the executive summary outlines the CID's action plan for the next 5 years. And I think what you'll want to notice is that the top 3 projects all relate to the city of Fayetteville. The interchanges, including I-85 and Virginia Avenue, the wayfinding branding package, and our focus on Virginia Avenue as a small area study, and looking to create an opportunity, again, to change the brand and perception, to enhance the brand and perception, and to be a catalyst for economic development specifically within that corridor.
Council, I want you to read the third item down. It says, potential relocation of overhead power.
We can put that on first.
So that gives you an overview of the CIP master plan. In addition to the executive summary, there's a really nifty binder of about 200 pages that you'll probably never want to read. But Mr. Reese and Ms. Berry at the CID have all of the technical data. So when it comes to follow-up studies, grant applications, the CID is at the ready to help you with those things. So hopefully that gives you an overview, answers some early questions, and I'll be happy to answer any of
I
them.
am correct, and one of the things y'all are doing is leveraging some money from DOT on these interchanges.
Absolutely. The DOT is already participating in some of the cleanup. They also have gateway grants and other funding pieces where the CID's goal really, yes, is to use our local money in order to leverage additional county, regional, and state funds.
Questions?
So I'll have to read, yeah.
The only, my understanding was the only participants in Hayesville were along Virginia Avenue, correct?
The current property owners that we have are along Virginia Avenue as well as Porsche.
Yeah, there's some along Doak Davis as well. And if I may, Mr. Mayor, just an editorial note from the staff. This is one of the projects that Ms. O'Brien was involved in heavily, a lot of intergovernmental coordination, and a lot of the fact that we got some of the top priorities are directly due to her efforts.
Yeah, which will be missed. Aren't you guys with the people that got the ARC grant for the walking trails?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure we're putting 2 and 2 together, okay.
Yes, so the CID under Ms. Berry and Mr. Reese's leadership will be helping manage the LCI process.
Okay, okay. All right, just making sure I'm putting people together.
Any other questions for Mr. Bozeman?
Was where the term wayfinding came from. I've never heard it before.
Yeah, it's a little more of an industry term because the key thing is it's not just signage. The idea is to have signage that both welcomes you to the Aerotropolis district, but also gives you some directional cues for where you're headed. There are restrictions in terms of what can be put on that signing. You can't put that you're going to, slideways, but you can put downtown Hayesville, Virginia Avenue district. And that's what the CID wants to develop over the next few months, are the details of that wayfinding and signage package.
And I would like to see it, we're gonna have our pedestrian, I like to see pedestrian traffic really, because we have all these people that are stuck in their hotels, and they wanna get out and walk, and they wanna get out and do stuff, but they don't know where and how far. Then I could just see those wayfinding signs like downtown Hayesville, 15-minute walk, and having signage like that. where it's pedestrian friendly? Are you guys talking about?
Yes.
Okay, not just car, but pedestrian?
Right, so it outlines 3 different scales. The regional is sort of highway signage, the district is sort of car signage, and then the local is pedestrian. And the wayfinding signage plan that's in the executive summary sort of points out which types of signage are appropriate for which areas and locations.
Okay, thank you.
You're gonna have to tie their effort into our LCI, and that's, again, part of the intergovernmental coordination we have yet to do.
Any other questions or comments from Mr. Post? Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, the next item we have is consideration to approve a resolution 017-02. This is adding a new irrigation meter billing rate. The North Georgia Metropolitan Water Planning District requires all local governments in the district to adopt several water conservation measures. Addition of a new irrigation meter billing rate equal to at least 2 times the first tier water billing rate is one of the measures being requested. Georgia's EPD enforces compliance with the district requirements and can withhold future permits and take related actions towards the city if we are not in compliance. This new rate applies only to those who have an irrigation meter. In our case, mostly applies to commercial accounts. There are approximately 12 customers affected by this change. The first tier rate is $8.78, and the new irrigation meter rate will be $17.56. So is anyone prepared to make a motion on this item?
I move we accept it.
All right, motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second discussion?
Lynn, can you tell me what the approximate, or who these 12 might be? Or Mr. Whitson? Lee?
Hotels,
What's it, the hotel?
Mainly the larger users.
and Delta, and I think you've got 1 resident there.
And what's the average bill right now? 10,000?
Lemuel,
50?
would you know?
$500?
I'm not sure, I can get you that information if you need it.
Because I'm looking at this and it looks like it's gonna double. Am I correct in
It's
that?
gonna double.
The rate will double.
What's your answer?
Well, then
Only
that
on the
would
first
be,
16,000 gallons, though. That is already that rate.
Yeah, and the thing is, you only use the irrigation like 4 months out of the year, most of them, so it's not a lot.
but I wonder if we told them so that they could have been here and voiced their opinions. Anybody let them know about this?
We didn't because if we don't do this, if we don't take these measures, they could withhold our water permit. And we have a call this Thursday with the EPG on maybe going to level 3 drought. They're considering that would be the next step, so they're pretty serious about water problems.
So it's mandatory that we double the rate from $8.78 to $17.56?
Yep, they're not giving us a choice.
Okay.
But it's also, like I said, it's only on the first 16,000